You know, you could do it tomorrow if you had to, but
yeah, I feel really good. Yeah, I think it's going to be like the best Mid-South ever.
I stopped doing the AI. It wasn't for me. I was actually in pain.
Jonathan and Sean explained to us that Chase's training plan effectively had some kind of glitch. The plan served her a workout called Redondo, and apparently that's like one of the hardest workouts in the whole Trainer Road system. Because she finished it, the system then overestimated what she was capable of, and so all of her workouts after that ended up being extremely hard.
I have a lot of knee problems. I've had knee surgery before, and just being on the trainer, doing these hard efforts, like it was legit hurting my body. I could not keep going after a month of it. With training for Mid-South right now, I was very stressed. I was already planning on training with Ignition, ended up starting that a little bit sooner than planned.
So Ignition is a coaching company that me and famous YouTuber Dylan Johnson started in 2021. When you sign up for a coach with Ignition, you're not just gonna get the next coach on the list that's due for an athlete. You're gonna fill out an athlete intake form, and it's gonna ask you about your goals, where you live, what kind of training background you have, and we're gonna use all the info from that to try to connect you with the best suited coach that's gonna be the best coach for you.
Caitlin, she's gonna be my coach. This is the first time that I have ever in my life been coached by another woman. You mentioned off camera that you typically try to match women with women. Do you wanna explain to the YouTube world why that is?
Obviously, women are gonna know the women's body a little bit better than men. Balancing it with training. She's dealt with that, and she's found success in racing and training. So I think it's just gonna be way more natural for a female to work with a female coach. We want the communication to be top notch. The way we coach our coaches or tell them initially is like trying to figure out what works best for the athlete is the best way to do it. So like if you prefer text messages, well then just text your coach. Try to write out athletes' plans in blocks. You know what's coming up over the next block is usually about a month. And so I'll usually try to write out an athlete's plan for a month. That way they have an idea of what's coming up. And if we need to adjust it along the way, that's pretty easy to do. But they can see the progression of, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, recovery week. And if you need to adjust things, you just text your coach and say, oh, hey, I can't ride on this day. Can we swap it? When you get a new athlete, how do you write their training plan? Like, how do you determine what workouts go on the calendar?
So periodization is, in very simple terms, starting with the easier stuff. And then you build up and you get stronger.
In a periodized plans, you kind of focus on one bucket at a time. So you have like the tempo bucket, the threshold bucket, the VO2 bucket, and then your high intensity bucket. And like, depending on what your goals are, if your goal is unbound, well then you probably want the tempo bucket to be close to unbound. Like, what's the hardest thing from an athlete's perspective?
I think the hardest thing is being honest with themselves and their coach.
That's good.
And like really relaying the information
Yeah.
to the coach. The more often you can leave a comment on a workout or just text your coach how you're feeling, how you're doing, how the workouts are going, whether they're too easy or too hard, the better your coach is going to be able to help you succeed.
Almost 2 months now of various intervals and endurance rides. The time of filming today, we are 2 weeks out from Mid-South, and I'm feeling pretty freaking good about it. I genuinely feel like I am the strongest I have ever been. Feeling really strong. I did a workout last week where I ended up getting like my 4th best all-time 20-minute power, and it's February. That was like a massive confidence boost. I know one thing that's gonna be talked about a lot in the comments is gonna be price. Ignition is $230 a month, and that is expensive, especially when we're coming from like a video with AI training for $20 a month. But after my 2-month experience so far, I 100% see the value, the benefits.
so I wanted to squeak one more workout in because you've had 3 weeks of that progressive overload, and then this should be 1 week deload. But if we can get one more, I say let's roll with it while you're feeling good. Okay, pretty consistent. First interval, second interval to me always feels easier than the first one. It's pretty responsive here, but then you're recovering well.
Yeah, the second one felt definitely a lot easier and smoother than the first one.
Overlaying the RPMs, I can see if we had a little cheat here, drop off in power before kind of finishing off that recovery. But I
Yep.
mean, the important part is that you do the quality work during the interval and you're getting that done. So yeah, IF of 0.83, you can consider that like 83% of your threshold. So that's proper tempo. All looks good. 157 on that first one and 158 on that second one. So super consistent. That's really good to see. Awesome. That looked great.
The end was like brutal to get through. Mentally, I was just done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I feel like those really hard moments mentally to push through, you only have so many of those in you in the winter season. So I want to really meter those efforts and those mental hurdles on the trainer so you don't get too burnt out. But every once in a while, it's good to kind of push through. Yeah, this all looked good. Sweet. Okay, let's take a look at this. So how did this 30 minutes straight feel?
I think that one felt better than Tuesday. Like my legs weren't feeling nearly as dead before, and I tried to do a better job at focusing on what I was doing and like moving to the sprints quicker.
Okay, I want to talk about if you can remember what you had on those intensity sessions as far as what you consumed, whether it was liquid in the bottle, solids.
Oh gosh. In the bottle, I've been putting the Good Life carbs electrolyte mix.
Okay.
That just doesn't hurt my stomach.
You're fairly small too, right?
Yeah, I'm like 5'3" and 120 pounds.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration, and they think like 90 grams or more per hour is just universal.
Yeah, the Good Life and then the carbs fuel gels. I like that combo. Nutrition is the thing that I'm like most stressed about going into Mid-South.
How are you feeling about having 2 rest days? Are you kind of itching to have another something on the calendar, or do you feel like that is really helpful for you to have two days to do your thing?
I'm kind of torn on it. I think I'd be fine either way. Right now I don't feel like my body needs 2 rest days right now.
And that's probably why you're not feeling like you're super ready for a recovery week, is because you're having that additional rest day on the calendar. So that's good. But I would say next week, why don't we nix the recovery or nix the second rest day?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You can totally shift this stuff around, but the rest of this week here is pretty much easy spinning. You feel like your nutrition off the bike is supporting all of this? Or is that something you need to dive into a little bit more? Okay.
No, I feel really good about my off the bike nutrition.
Okay. Good.
I eat a lot and it's like not junk. So
nice. Perfect. That's all you can ask for.
I feel pretty good about it.
Okay. Just continue to do the weekly countdown. So we're 6 weeks away from Mid-South. It almost feels like the closer we get, the more time we have, because you're in such a good place right now. It's, you could do it tomorrow if you had to, but
yeah, I feel really good. Yeah, I think it's going to be like the best Mid-South ever.
What do you feel like is your time cutoff? Like if you get the able 3 weeks out, are you still going to run that?
3 weeks out? Yeah, I think so. No, I feel like I've been like training really well for the first time in a long time. I got to set myself up for success. So if that bike isn't
and this event,
then I'd probably ride the MOG just to like be comfortable, be dialed. 2 weeks before, as long as I can get out on the bike, like I would ride the Able.
How different is the geometry?
The Able is going to be like racier.
Okay.
But they're very, very similar overall.
You're going to end up with a shorter stem on the Able, and it would be fairly similar.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty close. Like I've got all the parts for it just sitting in a cabinet here, like ready to go. I was gonna try a narrower bar because I'm 5'3", and one issue that I keep having is I'm like just short enough that a lot of like companies don't make a stem that like my reach ends up being just a smidge long. So one of the Aru handlebars, they're like the super narrow ones.
Yeah.
Have like the short reach one, and it's supposed to like it sweeps back a little bit, and so we think that might solve the stem issue.
Okay,
I'm gonna try it.
Right. So volume that week, we'll introduce a little bit of threshold in this volume week, so it'll be more like durability style workouts.
Cool.
Really light week, and then try and add some intensity, and then kind of build into the race. Build within reason, nothing too intense, but
Yeah.
definitely something to get the legs moving. Yeah.
I have weekly calls with Caitlin where we go over the previous week's training. Like she literally goes through every single workout and ride I did with me. And we talk about how I felt in addition to reviewing notes I added onto each ride. And then we talk about how the following week is going to go. Text her multiple times a week if I'm feeling like garbage or if something went well. She'll text me before a hard workout and just say, you got this. It's been really, really great. There will be updates on how the training's going, how the race went. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, follow along. If you want to be trained by Ignition, they have an athlete intake form you can fill out, and Drew or someone over there will contact you and do their thing. If you have any questions about Ignition, just drop them down below and we'll address it in the Mid-South video.
Sweet.
Bye.